Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Monday edition of Birds 365. Excuse me. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had an awesome weekend, a great Mother's Day. And we got some breaking news here to start this Monday morning for you all. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Monday morning, brother?
Doing well. The NFL coming in hot this morning. NFL kickoff opener. Philadelphia Eagles, your Super Bowl champions, hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Can't get better than that. Big game to start for the NFL. They're going to get a lot of TV numbers. Smart decision by the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
And the Eagles get to, celebrate their second Super Bowl championship against what is the fans, I think, still, even though it should be Washington at this point. But I think the most significant rival of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Not to say Washington do it for another year, but John, that's right. The Eagles will open up the season versus the Dallas Cowboys in their home opener. It's Thursday Night Football. It's September 4th. So set your calendars, everybody. Let me get you the number. How many days until September 4th, Johnny Mac? We have 115 days. 115 days. Some call this week Johnny Mac's favorite week of the offseason. We play win and loss, and we prospect the schedule out. But John, I think this is an awesome opening game. You mentioned the ratings are going to be huge on it. I think it's a good football game too, man. I'm a little higher on this Cowboys team than others, and they get to watch us raise our Super Bowl banner, which might give Jerry Jones a little bit of, a twisted stomach. But from that perspective, I do think it's a great business decision for the NFL, and it's going to be a great football game to open the season.
Yeah, no doubt from an NFL perspective, it's a home run. I mean, the Cowboys are what the Cowboys are as far as TV and that part of it. So the business aspect, certainly a home run. A lot of speculation. I'll take this time. You mentioned my favorite week of the year, tongue in cheek. Again, PSA, please don't send me your schedule leaks. I don't care. I'm not paying attention to them. If I get it from the NFL, I get it from the NFL. That's about it. I mean, we're talking logistics. A little bit strange to have this big of a rivalry game kicking the season off. But again, I think from the business standpoint, it makes so much sense. And that will probably be, I would venture to guess, the most watched game for most of the season until you get later in the season. Maybe you have a matchup of two legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Maybe that'll pass it late in the season, but certainly early. This is the most high profile game. You can argue you can argue Kansas. A lot of people, for those stupid leaks, were talking about Chicago trying to speculate and piece together because there's a lot of hype in two big markets. But obviously Philadelphia, Dallas is a proven draw. Proven. You don't have to speculate about what Ben Johnson means or what Caleb Williams means. This is a proven draw no matter what. And the only thing that can derail that is if somebody isn't as good as they're expected to be later in the season. So, everybody will be hyped up week one. You're a little bit higher on Dallas than I am, but they're better than they were last year. That's for sure. At least if Dak Prescott is standing for week one. So should be competitive, but a good spot for the Eagles as well. Obviously home, it's difficult to win at Lincoln Financial Field to begin with, and they're just the better football team. So good chance to get off on a good start on top of all the business reasons.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And now, obviously, the Dallas, they win the offseason every year, John. So it's that early game is a chance to capitalize on when everybody thinks Dallas is going to be the best team in football, whether they are or they aren't.
I don't think too many think that.
I don't know, John. They're the offseason winners every year. You should listen to the Cowboys fans on YouTube. The Cowboys
fans, yeah.
They're out there talking. We got George Pickens. We're coming for Philly. So listen. The hype early in the year, John used to say this about shitty teams. Well, it exists for a team like the Cowboys too. The hype is big, and we have a chance to knock them right back off the throne and say, go watch the champs raise their banner. This is what playoff success looks like. Now get crushed by us in week 1. I think it's a home run game.
Yeah, I think it's a home run game for the NFL, the NFL's perspective and from the Eagles' perspective, because I think it's a chance to sort of stake your claim and in the NFC East as a whole against Dallas right away. They'll be a somewhat significant favorite, probably not as much as they should be because of the Dallas hype. But yeah, I don't think anybody's calling Dallas either the best team in football or winning the offseason other than Dallas Cowboys fans. You're wearing,
but you know what I mean. How they are
America's
they are
America's
team.
team.
They get. I mean, look, they get a lot of people that root for.
Yeah, they get more hype. That's how I always describe it. They get more hype. There's certain teams in certain sports. I'm a Yankees fan. I admit they get more hype than everybody else, whether they deserve it or not. Celtics and Lakers in the NBA, Cowboys, etc. They're that team. If that upsets Eagles fans, it is what it is. But I mean, it's about more than just success on the field. And by the way, the Eagles are now one of those teams. I say, in this century, only one team has been on national TV more than the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys are a ratings beast, especially early in the year. Like I mean, if last year they were, 4-7 at one point in the year, so it dies down a little bit. This is a good opportunity to capitalize on that Dallas hype early across the league and put them back in their place. John, I'm excited to see it. Do we have any Cowboys fans in the chat? I know we have Cowboys viewers that watch every day, but here we go. We got one Cowboys fan, 1992 says, all I'm going to say is y'all beat us last year with 11 starters out, so congrats. All right, see that, John? They're already talking shit.
Yeah. Well, hey, guess what? Eagles fans talk shit no matter what. All fan bases talk shit until they get, put in their place, basically. And I think the Eagles are a significantly better team. We'll see how it all shakes out. I saw one of those goofy aggregation accounts go through the biggest weakness of every team, and I'm not even going to give them credit, but going through the biggest weakness for every team. And for the Eagles, it was absolutely nothing or something like that, which, that's the other end. That's bullshit. There's plenty of things I can point to where there got to be questioned and answered. So it works on both sides. It works. Every fan base is like that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Whatever. And the Eagles deserve it more than most because they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they've had demonstrated continued success. I mean, I know you collapsed in 23, but before the collapse, you were a damn good team. 22 was obviously a great year, and 24 as well. So when Jalen Hurts is out there and playing, the team has been pretty good, as we've talked about with their record. John, from a football perspective, what do you think of this matchup? They got Pickens coming in. They're going to have Dak Prescott back, obviously. They got Tyler Booker, their first-round pick, Donovan Ezaraku they took in the second round. They had a decent NFL draft, so the Cowboys did pretty good in the draft. But from a football perspective, what do you think of this opening game? Should be a good one.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys are a good team, not a great team. I think they'll be in the wild card hunt. So they're much improved. I do think for the people and there's certainly going to be people here that are going to overlook them. You can't do that. Guys are going to be healthy. I don't know where I mentioned that last week. I don't know where Overshawn's going to be, but he's a good player if he's back. I don't know how healthy he's going to be. But, the Cowboys fan mentioned all the injuries. They did have a crap load of injuries. He's not lying from that perspective. And most of those guys are going to be back and they're going to be healthy. Now, you don't know what happens in training camp. That's why I hate this week, the wins and losses.
Yeah, right.
You don't know who's going to be there. But if everybody's there on both sides, the Eagles are a better football team. I mean, that hasn't changed. But the Cowboys have gotten significantly better because most of those injured players will be back. And they're a good football team, not a great football team. But, they'll be 10 winish going for maybe that last wild card spot. That type of team, if they have a relatively healthy season, I would say they'd be in that conversation.
Could be a big game for Cooper DeJean too, John. Assuming we'll see how it plays out in camp. Obviously, where he ends up lining up, but CD Lamb is one of the best slot receivers in football. So we'll see if Cooper DeJean is lined up in the slot. Should be good to see. John, some other news that happened, and we'll talk a little bit more about this game. We're supposed to have Jeff Kerr today. He was having some internet issues this morning, so we'll see if we can get Jeff Kerr up here to discuss this with us as well, coming up soon. But John, did you happen to see this weekend A.J. Brown's commencement speech to Ole Miss?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw clips and congrats to AJ. AJ's been doing a lot this offseason.
Man, I was impressed with that commencement speech, Johnny Mac. He is a sharp dude. I thought he gave some really good messages in that commencement speech.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of commencement speeches.
Me neither. No, me neither. But I just thought, AJ could have said a lot.
But yeah, AJ's a very, I talk about it all the time. I'm team AJ. A very impressive dude. So, and I think you heard some of his messages after winning the Super Bowl, which rubs some people the wrong way. But I'm like, that defines AJ's greatness. Like he's never satisfied. He's like, all right, now what's next? And he's back out there, working hard, working his body. That sort of defines him. You don't get that good by mistake. And I think a lot of people say, well, he's just really talented. I always bring up Randy Moss because I got to cover Randy. Yeah, because his reputation was, diva, pain in the ass type guy. And everybody, well, he's just so gifted, which he was outrageously. But there was always that, well, he doesn't, if they're going to the other side, he doesn't run around, he takes plays off, all that nonsense, which every receiver does. If the play's going the other side, what are you going to run like a lunatic? So everybody does it. But it was all unfair. And I got to see him every day. Never missed a practice, never did anything, worked his ass off, incredible work ethic. Again, people are you just roll out of bed and you're so gifted. That doesn't work in the NFL. And I think it was 6 seasons before he tore his hamstring. And by the way, he played through a torn hamstring, more as a decoy, but he played through it. Never missed a practice, never mind a game. So, there's a lot of those. And I bring that up because of AJ's work ethic. Like the stuff he does behind the scenes to get his body prepared to be where he is crazy. And he's just a very impressive person. So, to impart that message to younger people, it's a good thing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I thought it was great listening to him, but I am with you. I mean, commencement speeches are a little bit of baloney. They'll go out and seize the world, everybody.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they're all to a certain degree. I'm not picking on AJ. They're all, but it is what it is. But yeah, I don't sit around and watch too many commencement speeches.
No, me neither. I just watch.
Obviously, it was interesting from the standpoint of, his season, winning the Super Bowl, coming off his college where he starred. Good for him that he got to do that.
Yep, no doubt about it. For those just checking in this morning, we had the big news: Eagles versus Cowboys, Week 1. We talked about that in the opening segment there a little bit. We'll kick around that game a little bit more. I'm excited to have the Cowboys in Week 1. John, were you there at the 2018 opener when they hung the banner for the first Super Bowl win in franchise history?
Yeah, of course.
What is that like?
I don't remember it at all. I don't remember who they played, so that'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, well, for the fans, I imagine. Again, you're talking about different perspectives. For the fans, I'm sure it's awesome, especially that one. They had never won a Super Bowl before. But you're standing here asking me the question, and I got to look it up. Yes, I was there. But I don't remember who they played.
I was more asking about the ceremony. You know, I like things, even if you're not a fan, I like the spectacle of things, you know, I like to call it. So the production and things like that. But what goes on? You just raise the banner, I guess down there.
Yeah. Well, you can
We've
tell
only done one in Philly, so
you can tell how big of an impact it had on me. Yeah, they
I was in
raised the
college
banner.
at the time, John. I was probably zooted and booted, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. I was there, and I can't even remember it. So that's what. But I'm sure it's very exciting for fans, and especially in that, you know, where again it was number one. It was the Atlanta Falcons. I had to look it up. Yeah, I don't remember it at all. I could lie to
We
you.
had a couple people in here who knew it. Falcons and Atlanta.
Yeah.
We had 2 people in here who knew
I could lie to you, but I don't remember anything about it, to be honest. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, it's I've been through a lot of seasons, a lot of sports teams, a lot of, you know, it's fun for the fans. I think the bigger thing I do remember the ring ceremony, which was at the old ECW arena, which is now called whatever it's called, Arena 2300, whatever it's called, 2300 Arena, the old ECW arena in South Philly. I think that was, you know, when they get their rings, I think that's a little bit more exciting for the players. But yeah, seeing the banner. But yeah. I don't remember at all. I'm getting old.
I'm excited to see if anybody's going to be down there for the ring ceremony, for the banner drop in that week 1 game. But Eagles, Cowboys, John, I think the matchup on the football field is pretty good because Dallas has those 2 receivers now, and the Eagles have a big hole in their secondary. You got 2, your safety and a corner coming back. So will Dak come in and start slinging it? He's returning to the lineup. I like it from a football perspective too. Now, everybody keeps telling me Cowboys are going to suck. I don't think they're going to suck at all. I think the NFC East has a chance to be the NFC North of last year this year. But I think it's going to be a great football game as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into run pass ratio on May. Where are we? May 10th, May 12th. Yeah. So,
John, you might as well buckle in, brother. We're 20 minutes into a 10-hour week of shit. You might as well buckle that seatbelt.
I'm not going to get into run pass ratio, but you know, the Eagles have gotten a little bit worse in the secondary. I think if you're being honest, on paper, you don't lose players like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Darius Slay, and not have an impact. And not to mention Isaiah Rodgers and even Avonte Maddox. And the Cowboys have gotten a little bit better because Dak Prescott will be healthy in theory. Again, you never know what happens in training camp. They added George Pickens, who's a good receiver. He's not great, but he's certainly somebody you have to account for, along with CD Lamb, who is great. So, yeah, I mean, one's gone up and one's gone down. So they're getting a little bit closer than where they were last season. I think if you're being fair, one's gotten people and one's lost people from that perspective.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure. Should be a great opener. I'm very excited about it because Eagles Cowboys games are always fun. Now you have it in week 1 to look forward to. So everybody's going to be jacked up about that. John, one other thing I wanted to talk about in this open, assuming that we do get Kerr up. Kerr was having some internet issues this morning. So hopefully we get Jeff Kerr up here. But, you know, I saw an article, John, from your buddy Ed Kratz on SI.com talking about sobering news for Nakobe Dean. I'm like, what's this about? So I started reading it.
yeah, I'm going to rip it. That's not sobering news.
No, it's not. But I see the connection he's making with. There was a linebacker for the 49ers, Drake Jackson, and he failed a physical, and he suffered a torn left patellar tendon in week 8 of 2023, which is the exact same injury that Nakobe Dean suffered last year, a torn left patellar tendon. And his rehab has not gone well. Now, again, I'm with you. I don't think it's sobering news for Nakobe Dean, but it does show you the complexity, I think, maybe of that injury. It's not like you tore an ACL, you know, it happens a lot. And there's a a commonplace fix for it. I think there's
well, I take it. I don't take it as sobering news from the sound. I'm joking with Ed, but I get, obviously the comparison, but everybody's different. I think a lot of people, like, I could point to torn ACLs that have ruined people's careers. 90% of them don't.
Right.
Chris Maragos, most notably locally, with a PCO. Very difficult injury. Never played again. Won a bunch of money in a suit against his doctors, which forced the Eagles to go in a different direction with their medical staff. Career-ending injury. Other guys have come back. I mean, there's all the time. I tell the story. Sharif Floyd, I tell the story all the time, was an emerging star Philadelphia kid. Emerging star, having a great second year of his career, I think. Had to have knee surgery. They nicked a nerve. It was it. He was done. I mean, the assumption that somebody's injury is going to relate to somebody else's is a bad way to look at it. That's when you think about, how do so many teams pass up on DK Metcalf back in the day, as an example. And he's still playing at a high level today, and everybody points to them, including the Eagles. A lot of Eagles fans have brought up, how stupid are you? Guess what? Medical stuff is not all that cut and dry at times.
Yeah.
So all I can tell you about Nakobe is, which amazed me, he was off crutches by the time the Eagles had clean out day, which was a couple days after winning the Super Bowl. He was already off. He had surgery the week of the NFC Championship game. That's how quickly he was off crutches. Now, if you go back to his Lisfranc injury, he was on months. He was on a rollabout, then he graduated to crutches, then he had a walking boot, months and months and months and months. So, all I can tell you is he was ahead of schedule. It is a very serious injury, though, and you have to give it time to heal. Like, torn ACLs are funny because guys feel like they can play, 3 months off surgery.
Right.
But it needs a certain amount of time. Generally, the Eagles err on the side of caution, 9 months. Now, it used to be 12 months. Now it's 9 months because of the medical advances. But yeah, if your rehab goes wrong, if you do one thing wrong, you could be Chris Maragos. You can be this guy. You can be Sharif Floyd. So, but what you can't do, or you shouldn't do, is say, well, this guy had this, so this guy should do this. Everybody's different. The Eagles rolled the dice with Sidney Jones with a torn Achilles. That guy was going to be a top 15 pick in the draft, and they drafted him in the second round. Torn Achilles, you've seen plenty of guys come back from torn Achilles, significant injury. Sidney Jones was never the same. Everybody's different. I think if people bring it into their own lives, and if they've had experience with injuries themselves, or they know people that have,
yeah, right,
everybody's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm very cautious to compare other people to injury because you don't know what's going on. Now, I am concerned about Nakobe long term because, look, one of the reasons he lasted to the third round was because of injury concerns. And he's been injured a lot in the first couple of years of his career. And his injuries the first couple of years in his career are all lower body injuries. Lisfranc, very serious injury. And now patellar, very serious injury. And that's why, by the way, you see the Eagles drafting not only Jahad Campbell, everybody's going to focus on that, but even Smile Munden on day 3, they know they have to have a contingency if things go wrong. So they know, they're aware.
Yeah. Most recently for me, if you guys remember, for the viewers, if they remember back when I was in Lake Placid for a ski trip, my family, my sister tore her ACL on that trip. So she's been going through the rehab ever since then. And I've been able to see her just through that process. But you're definitely right. Everybody is very different. And it's going to be interesting to see. I think Nakobe's going to be good. When do you think he'll be back? If you had a guess, I know you're not. I'm not trying to put you on the spot here because you're not a doctor. You don't claim to be. But when do you think Nakobe Dean should be back? Do you think he'll be there for week 1? I think that's the big question.
I doubt it. If I'm betting, he's shooting for week 1. Certainly, he's already told me that. But it's very, Sidney Brown was shooting for week 1, and that dude was running like himself, and you said, yeah, he should be ready. But as I said, the Eagles are going to be cautious. And he ended up having a very difficult rehab. He ended up having another issue where he had another minor surgery. So again, everybody's not the same. And all I can tell you is he feels good. He's planning on it, but I doubt it. In fact, if you told me, I'm focused on, all right, who's going to be the week 1 middle linebacker? Because I don't think it's going to be Jahad Campbell or Nakobe Dean. So I think it's going to be Jeremiah Trotter and they could admit it might be Zach Ball taking the green dot, but whatever, you get my point. Just that second linebacker or Smile Munden, depending on what, kind of summer that he has, at least early in the season. So, I said and it's both weird, labrum surgery, patellar surgery. If you look online, if you that rehab is 6 to 12 months, which is abnormally a wide range because of the things I'm talking about.
Right. 6 to 12 months.
Exactly. Yeah. So 6 months for Nakobe, he should be back. 12 months, obviously not even close. Same 6 months, right around, ironically, for Jahad would be right around week 1.
Right.
12 months, obviously a long time.
Yeah. Now, Nakobe, if you go right in the middle between 6 and 12, would be 9, and then he should be right around there, right? He tore it when? January,
right? Week 1 of the playoffs, so January, early January.
Early January, right, in that Packer game. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I hope Nakobe Dean's out there for that week 1 game. Now versus the Dallas Cowboys. I see my man Game Time Brian in here. Is one of our other Cowboy fans here, Johnny Mack. He's ready to go. He's already in here talking shit. All right, so the Cowboys fans are fired up. The Eagles fans are fired up. Should be a great week 1 game. John, if Nakobe is not ready, is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. the easy shoe-in candidate to start right now?
No, I think he's a favorite, but I do think Smile Munden could beat him out.
Wow, year 1 for Munden?
Well, I'm not talking about 17 games. In theory, I'm talking about, all right, who's the best to get you through 2-3 games? And he's a little bit more athletic, but, Trotter has the year head start, played well in his limited opportunities. I would say he's the heavy favorite, but, the Eagles are very cognizant, generally do a very good job of making sure everybody's pushed. And if Smile Munden hits the ground running, I think he's better than a normal 5th round pick. He had some injury issues, which is the reason he was there, to be honest, that late. So, yeah, I would say Trotter's the heavy favorite, but I wouldn't shut the door on Smile Munden because Trotter's not proven. And, it could be a true meritocracy situation. All right, who plays better over the summer? And that's your placeholder until others can get back from injury.
Yeah. Should be interesting to see how that all shakes out. But the Cowboys, Eagles, week 1 is the latest news. Nothing else happened, John, over the weekend, right? We had Mother's Day. Hope everybody had a great Mother's Day. Oh, we had the Truist, the golf event that was at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. I think a couple of our viewers were down there. Joe Whipp, I see you in here. I'm sure you were down there. I know a couple of you guys. I think what's the other guy's name? Rich Nutt. I think you were down there. So you guys got to let me know how that was for those.
Sepp Straka wins.
Yeah, I saw that. Sepp Straka. I didn't watch too much of it because it was Mother's Day, so I was hanging out with my mom.
That is by the way, his 4th PGA Tour win. The Truist Championship. I'm looking down my notes, and he's expected to move into the top 10 in the official world golf rankings. With
wow, look at that. I'm out of the loop on golf. So Sepp Straka, I didn't know he was a top 10 player.
There you go.
He's going to move in. Yep, and he won the Truist here in Philly at the Cricket Club. I will say the course presented pretty nicely on the TV for those who have ever been to the Cricket Club. Interesting story is my parents got married at the Philadelphia Cricket Club.
Nice.
So, they turned that on and we're like, hey, there you go. But ton of Eagles chants, Joe Whipp said. I heard one on the broadcast. I will say that. I did hear one on the broadcast. That was pretty good. And whenever you're in Philly at an event, Joe Whipp, for any sport, you're going to get some Eagles chants. The Phillies get Eagles chants for crying out loud. So good stuff there, though. In Philly, we'll take our first commercial break. Great opening segment here. Eagles, Cowboys. And John is very excited, everybody, for our Thursday show where he will tell you whether the Eagles will win or lose. That's a win. That's a loss. Some call it Johnny Mac's favorite show of the year. We'll be right back on Birds 365. Thanks, everybody, for being here this morning. We should have Jeff Kerr coming up in a bit, but he's having some internet technical difficulties, so we'll work on getting him up. If not, plenty to talk about on this Monday. We'll see you in 3 minutes.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Monday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. It's a May 12th edition, post Mother's Day weekend. Hope everybody had a great weekend here. And the schedule release is set for Wednesday this week. And week 1 has already been leaked. The Philadelphia Eagles will host the Dallas Cowboys and drop the banner in front of Jerry Jones and the NFC East division rival. We are joined now by Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports. Jeff, thanks for getting with us this morning, brother. We appreciate you. I know you had some internet technical difficulties. Good to have you on here on a Monday edition of Birds 365. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, it turned out there was more than internet technical difficulties. It was the double shebang, the internet and the computer.
Oh boy.
Never want to hear that, Jeff.
No.
Well, you're back up and running. So good for you, by the way, getting that done, getting that situated. Week 1, Eagles, Cowboys, I think it was 13 years, Jeff, 13 straight years or something like that. It was over a decade that the Eagles and Cowboys played at least one game in prime time. And last year it didn't work out. The one game was at 4:20.
It was the CBS 425, which is, by the way, the highest rated game on our network last year.
Yeah. Which you guys, I assume, fought for that at CBS.
We did. So that was one of the things I was told before I actually got the schedule, that we were getting that game, and I had to swear to secrecy. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that's really cool. But yeah, it was a big deal. Like, I remember I went to CBS Upfronts for the NFL in August, and I was talking to Jim Nance and Tony Romo, and Jim practically said it was, look, you're going to get Eagles Cowboys again. We want you guys to call this game. And I assume because NBC did not have this game last year, they were going to get it this year. I didn't think it was going to be.
So that's the bet. That's what I was going to say. That's the back and forth. You guys got it last year. NBC gets it this year. Probably Fox will get it next year, to be honest.
You know what? Fox is probably pissed because they had Eagles Cowboys for 425 last year. Remember, it got flexed to 1.
Yeah. Well, by that point, though, the Cowboys were a mess by that point. So I don't think, later in the season, but early week 1, this is a home run business wise for the NFL. You can't put on a bigger game from a TV perspective, I think. You have 2 of the highest profile teams, the highest profile team against the Super Bowl champions. Ratings are going to be through the roof for this game.
Ricky Ricardo and I were talking about this on WIP last night. And, we were just going through who the opponent could be. And Ricky brought it up because, we're trying to think the business sense of it. Now, both of us picked the Bears, but we were both like, it could be the Cowboys just because of everything you said, John. It's a ratings bonanza. I mean, I bet you 40 million people watch that kickoff game.
Yeah. It will be, I've already predicted, it will be the highest rated game all season until late in the season when 2 really good teams match up. If it unfolds that way, that'll pass it. But early, it'll be for a long time, like first 10, 12 weeks of the season. It'll be the highest rated game all season. Yeah, that's my prediction.
I was charged with the task of predicting the Eagles 6 primetime game. I don't know the schedule yet, but since you can have a max of 6.
Oh, you cringe me, by the way, already. Primetime games.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, well, Dallas is definitely going to be one. That was like my first one, the slam dunk. I said, who knows what it'll be? I said, I bet you it's Sunday Night Football, at least Sunday Night Football. And it was. By the way, John, you're going to cringe at this prediction. I think the Eagles are playing on Christmas this year.
It's fine. I don't love it, but now we have Netflix Christmas games. Are they on Netflix again, or are they switching to YouTube?
There's 2 on Netflix and there's 1 on Amazon because Christmas is on Thursday, and they're going to have 3 Christmas games every year now.
Yeah. So it's part of it. That's fine. I used to cover the NBA. They stole Christmas from the NBA.
They completely stole it.
They just walked right in. It was, I don't want to use a war reference, but they just walked right in and said, "Yeah, you know what? Your
They do what they want. They're like stormtroopers. They do what they want." So, but I will say this: I don't think the Eagles will have 6 primetime games to start. They will probably only have 5 because they want to have that flex one later. I would think.
The Bills got 7 2 years ago because they started with 6 and then they got one flex late in the year.
I can see the Eagles getting 7.
Flex, you can flex even if you're at the maximum 6.
Yes. So the Bills had the maximum 6.
You couldn't flex, so already I've been corrected. Then they will have 6 to start. As long as you can go over that number, then it's fine. But I would think they would hold one back if you weren't able to go over that number, which is difficult for teams and nobody likes it. But that's the way the NFL is going. At some point, we're going to have Tuesday football. Christmas is going to be on Tuesday at some point. They're going to, at some point, unfortunately, we're going to be having football every day of the week. We're close to it.
I thought the COVID season was proof that we're going to have it every day.
Which I don't like, by the way. But
no, me neither. I think that's one of the rules of the NFL. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like I feel like a sycophant saying this, but growing up, I loved how it was just Sunday and Monday with the occasional Thursday game.
I loved it. I hate Thursday. I still hate Thursday.
Yeah, now that we get Thursday every week, I can't stand it.
Yeah,
it was cool.
You stole that from the Mac.
Yeah. It took now don't take Tuesday and Wednesday from the Mac. Now, I don't even know who's in the Mac anymore.
Yeah, either do I. But I remember always that big Miami of Ohio versus Toledo matchup on Thursday night. That was always
where I actually kind of make fun of my job in the NFL. So last year, the college football playoff was on Saturday. Remember they had the triple header of games, and I was at the Penn State game. I get asked by one of my editors, "Oh, did you see that great Steelers-Ravens game?" I'm like, "No, I'm celebrating Tony Rojas scoring a touchdown." I forgot the NFL even played that day.
That's rare. That's rare. I mean, they should. If you think about college football as a whole, it's essentially a free feeder system for the NFL. You should tip your cap to them and say, all right, we'll stay away from that. But they don't care. No, what is anybody going to do? They don't care.
Exactly. You know what? I give college football a ton of credit, too, with how they try to manipulate their schedule to make sure they're not going against the NFL. And they asked about the 21st. That was that Saturday because they had the triple header of games, and they did pretty well. And the NFL ratings didn't. They said, well, we're playing meaningful games, and they're not. And look, we had that date first. If they want to come in, that's fine, but we're still going to play. We're not – that was set in stone. So that was like the only time they didn't back off to the NFL.
Good for them. I like it. Good for them. Cowboys on the field, Jeff Kerr. What do you like them? You like what they've done? I think they've gotten better. Obviously, they're getting their quarterback back. But how significant can this team be? Are they – I kind of look at them like – they'll be on the cusp of that last wild card spot. Do you think they have a bigger upside than that or a lesser upside?
I think they should be a playoff team. I don't.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but I also agree with you. I think there's about 5 or 6 teams better than that. My issue is, and I've criticized George Pickens long before he's ever will don a Cowboy uniform. For all the talent they say this guy has, why don't you show it every once in a while? Not with like one of your one-handed catches like Odell Beckham. Why don't you actually go out there and play like everybody says you are, a top 5 receiver in the NFL? And
who says that? Who's saying he's a top 5? I don't hear that.
You'll hear that from the Steelers beat, who I listen to. But you just hear this from, again, my national media conglomerate. Oh, this guy's this guy's this, this guy's this. Really, all I see is 80 catches for 1,100 yards, and they go, well, this guy's his quarterback. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Like, I just don't want to hear it.
Well, I think he's talented, but I mean, I think he's more of a, he's more of a deep threat. He's not a well-rounded receiver.
He's a prima donna is what he is.
Well, you got the personality as well. But I don't think anybody's looked at him and said, this guy's a top receiver in the NFL. He's not, Jamar Chase or, AJ Brown.
Well, they like to put him in that category, or he has the potential. I'm like, well, a lot of these guys have the potential.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to be that. CeeDee Lamb is that. CeeDee Lamb's a top 5 receiver in the NFL.
Exactly. That's a top 5 receiver.
Right. Eagles don't have 2 AJ Browns. They got AJ and Devontae. I think it's a similar comp. I think the Eagles have a slight edge because I think AJ's a little better than CeeDee, and I think Devontae's a little bit better than George Pickens. But I think it's a good.
I think AJ's a little bit better than CeeDee, but I think Devontae's significantly better than George Pickens.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And I thought that was, again, a smart move by the Cowboys. You get 2 receivers to set your 32-year-old quarterback up. Look, Dak Prescott, no matter what we say about him, he just did not have anything on that offense last year outside of CeeDee Lamb. And then he got hurt.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about their running game.
They changed that running back room up tremendously.
Well, they did, but I mean, it's Javonte Williams,
Yeah.
Miles Sanders, and Jaden Blue. A lot of Eagles fans like because the Eagles looked at him and he can run. But I mean, come on. That's still a bad running back room. Is it better than last year's? I don't even know.
I don't know. Ricky O'Donnell was pretty good for them.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He wasn't terrible. Who was the other kid they had? Why can't I think of his name? I'm gonna have to look it up. But I think they were
the
better.
Stat of the year when it came to the Cowboys, right?
What's that?
I believe I told you this during the NFC Championship game.
Well, I don't remember it. They asked me, Jeff. I had no freaking idea.
Okay, so I remember this. I knew it was going to blow up, but I didn't think it'd blow up as much as it did. The Eagles had more rushing touchdowns in the NFC Championship game, 7, than the Cowboys had the entire season, 6.
Yeah, well, yeah, they had a bad year from that perspective. Yeah. And the Eagles obviously had an historic.
I went after one of those ultra Cowboys fans when they said, "Oh, you can't keep us out of your thoughts." I said, "No, that's a stat, and you guys are bad."
Yeah. They are. Well, it was Rico Dowdle. It was Hunter Lepke. It was Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn. And I think last year's might be better on that. Now, not from name value because people know Javonte Williams because he was. And I thought he was going to be a good player, but it didn't work out. Miles, obviously, it's been a disaster since he left Philadelphia, and you're talking about a day 3 pick, but. So this is what Zander, and I honestly could not remember. Now, Jeff's more of an Eagles fan than me, so he'll remember, I assume. But Zander asked me, what was the banner unveiling like in the 2018 season? I don't even remember.
You don't remember that race? You don't remember that race?
I don't remember a thing. I had to look up who they played.
Johnny Mac was blacked out during that thing. He had no clue. He looked at me like I had 12 heads. He's like, what are you talking about?
I don't remember at all.
Did they serve liquor in the press box that night or something?
No, you know what it is?
Oh, man.
It's very, I can tell you exactly what happened. I was pissed off that I had to wait extra time to get to the game because I'm focused on the game. What's going to go on
John
in the game.
And I hate Thursday night games. Going to them with a passion.
Well, yeah.
I left for, I can't remember if it was the Vikings they played on Thursday night. It was a year or 2 ago. I left at 1 and didn't get there till 4:45. And I was livid. And John will tell you, and Kratz will tell you, Martin Frank will tell you. I'm like, no matter what happens, I'm going to be mad. And I remember I came on with you guys that Friday for when we did the Birds 365 show, and I got stuck in traffic on the way home because some moron got into an accident.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So I was really livid.
That's a bad situation.
I don't know how much. By the way, I don't even know. I know it's a joke amongst media members because we got to work the games and everything. So when there's a night game, we're working till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. But I don't think any fans over 30 really like primetime games. I mean, does
They
anybody
don't.
really want to watch their football team at 11:45 at night?
No,
I mean,
well,
I'd much rather-
now we have an extra hurdle because they lock us in the stadium. If we
Yeah.
leave too late. So now we have an extra hurdle.
I've never heard of that. I don't get locked in the Phillies press box.
No, it's absurd. It's
Hey,
absurd.
what do they do if you're not out of there by a certain hour? They lock
They
the
lock
doors?
us in. They lock us in.
We got to buy
There-
John
there's been
a
some good
air
stories.
mattress in case he gets locked in at the lake this
But
year.
you got to walk all the way around. You got to walk out the loading dock, which is always open. But then you got to walk around you got to walk around the link and back. And they shut all the parking lot gates too. So you got to walk all the way to the Broad Street entrance, which is always open, of the Wells Fargo Center. Now, one day, Rob Motti saved us all, the great
Yes.
Rob Motti.
That was a preseason game. He did that.
Yeah. And he drove us from the loading dock all the way around. So, yeah, come on, Eagles, fix that. I don't have that. I've never gotten locked in. I've heard stories. Somebody got locked into, I think it was Jack McCaffrey. The great Jack McCaffrey got locked into Dallas one day. That's the only other person I've heard get locked in. Now everybody gets locked in Philadelphia. And they don't tell you they shipped it the way out one year. Didn't tell anybody. Just osmosis. I'm like, don't go there. You're going to get locked in. Absurd.
Yeah, it's crazy. The night of the snow game, I had so much to do. I thought I was going to get locked in there. And that was one of the nights they kept everything open when they played the Rams. I'm like, oh, wow. And
too busy celebrating. Now I remember that because a lot of people were on the field making snow angels and that kind of stuff.
I wanted to get home.
Yeah. Well,
Guys, I think there's only one team we could play in week 1 for the banner drop, mind you, all right, for the Super Bowl champions, where the TV might pan to the opposing owner more than they pan to the Eagles. How many times will the TV pan to Jerry Jones as the Eagles banner is dropping and reminding
Xander, twice in my lifetime I've gotten to use this joke, and I'm going to save it for September 4th, but all of you on Birds 365 will get to hear it now. This is the closest Dak Prescott's ever going to get to a banner.
Oh, man. Well, he is 32. I'll say this. Now I know there are quarterbacks who play their prime football well past 32, but there's also a lot of quarterbacks who don't play their prime football at 32. I'm wondering what Dak has left in the tank. I mean, I think of Carson Wentz. His prime was what, 27?
I'll tell you this. Well, yeah, but that was.
Yeah, it was a different scenario. But, Dak's had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, but I think he's
going the Donovan route, but without the pedigree.
Yeah, I think Donovan is the better comp. But he didn't. I'll tell you this. Before he got hurt last year, he was not playing well. So
he was really struggling. Like, you could tell that team was going to lose their head. I mean, look, I don't know why they kept Mike McCarthy another year. I never understood that logic after the 2023 playoff disaster where they just blew everybody out at home, and then they get blown out at home themselves by an inferior opponent. And then they decide to run it back, and they do the all-in stuff. I'm like, what are they doing over there? Like, you guys aren't that good.
No, they weren't. They did have a lot of injuries by the end. I mean, that factors into it. But I think it should be noted that he only played 8 games last year, but he was not playing well in those 8 games. A big dip from his previous season, which he was really freaking good. I think people forget how good he was in 2023. Basically completed 70% of his passes.
He was the runner-up to the MVP award, wasn't
he? I forget the exact. Now he's certainly in the top. He was a finalist. I remember that. I don't remember how it worked out, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he was too. Had 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He had a great year in 2023. Typical Dallas year, won 12 games. They falter in the playoffs, which is what they typically do. And then last year he was down. Everything was down. Think about that touchdown to interception ratio, 36-9. It was 11-8 in 8 games last year. He was not playing well. Under 65%.
I mean, this is how bad the Cowboys actually were. And again, no disrespect to Kenny Pickett, but they let Kenny Pickett just torch them.
Well, that's true. But by that point, their season was over. Like, I don't even, like, what was that,
That was week 17.
Week 17, yeah. I mean, they were
was
on
a-
fumes at that point.
You
They
know,
were on
it's so funny, too. Like, I don't know why it's them. Probably because I grew up with, and my family has no Cowboys fans, but I grew up with a bunch of quote-unquote Cowboys fans who, by the way, they never show their faces anymore as Cowboys fans because they suck now. But you just had to hear it all the time how wonderful that franchise was and how Flozell Adams was this great player. Or yeah, Eric Williams was a great player. I'm not gonna. I used to tell people this. Everybody thinks I hate the Cowboys. I'm like, one of my favorite players growing up because I root for a lot of players was Emmitt Smith. I just didn't like the team he played for.
Yeah, I mean, they were truly great during the Staubach Landry era, and they were truly great during the Jimmy Johnson run. They were so great. That team was so great that they won with Barry Switzer as a head coach. Anybody could have won with that team. But they haven't been that since that group, the Aikman, Smith, Irvin group. And it's been a long time, but they're still the Cowboys for some reason.
Well, this is where I'll really go on it with the tush push people when they call Jalen Hurts a tush push merchant. It's usually Cowboys fans. I got time out. Hold on. It's very easy to look this up. Most 1-yard touchdown runs in NFL history. Emmitt Smith is second. So don't
what's wrong? What's wrong with a 1-yard touchdown?
Yeah, that's what I said. What's wrong with 1 yard? Oh no, the running back should do. I'm like, says who?
Yeah.
6 is 6.
The goal is to get in the end zone.
Well, you know what? I always big time. I said, you know nothing about football if you think like that.
Yeah, you know me and stats people, but I'm torn on. I say it all the time, and I want to go down this route this early, but quarterback evaluation is broken. Jalen Hurts is really good player. Is he top 5? No, if we're being honest, but whatever. You get all this, because everybody's focused on, like, I say it all the time. I can tell people, and I've used this numerous times. I could say, hey, you know what? Myles Garrett's better than Josh Sweat. And everybody goes, yeah, duh, stupid. Why'd you say? Well, only one of them was in the Super Bowl looking like Superman. But nobody cares about any other position. You could do the same thing with Milton Williams, and who's a very good player, and the best defensive tackles. Chris Jones on the other side. I could say Chris Jones is better than Milton Williams. Nobody's batting an eyelash. Nobody's batting. Yeah, duh, dummy.
For the Super Bowl, we did a pound for pound. Like, basically, we rank all 106 players for CBS on both teams' 53-man rosters. I think the Eagles took, I want to say it was 60 of the first 85. And, like, I just remember Pete Briscoe just sending me a text after this because the Eagles are going to kill this team.
Yeah, they were. The Chiefs. The Chiefs were. It's kind of amazing, and I look at it different than most people. That was one of Andy's best coaching jobs ever. And people say, we got killed in the Super Bowl. How did he get to the Super Bowl? How did he win all those games? They're very top heavy, the Chiefs.
But by the way, my favorite Andy, again, I can't stand people who can't stand Andy Reid. It's just in my nature. Oh, Andy Reid choked in another Super Bowl. I'm like, he's got 3 of them. What are we doing here? It's like when LeBron doesn't win in the finals. He's got 4 of them.
Yeah.
He's been in
10. Don't even start. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've been saying that for years.
People look, I like to trash LeBron as much as I can, but it's more of his stupid stuff he says more than his game. He's a hell of a basketball player.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody, even the tremendous success the Eagles have, I say it all the time. And the 4 years, the record, the Sirianni record, the Hurts record, They won once.
Yeah.
I mean, you only win your last game. You lose your last game far more than you win your last game. Michael Jordan did. You got to go back to Bill Russell and Yogi Berra in a different era where there was one good team, one super team. Now you're going to lose. Doesn't matter who you are, from Tom Brady on down. You're going to lose your last game more than you win your last game. So get used to it, everybody.
Yeah, I actually get upset when people think the Eagles are just going to win the Super Bowl. I said, well, that'd be nice, but it's a lot harder. There's a reason why the Chiefs have been the only team to repeat in the last 20 years. It's hard. Everybody's like, Chiefs fatigue. I'm like, the ratings aren't saying that.
Yeah. Well, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce.
Doesn't feel like
Swift.
Again, no knowledge of the schedule yet, John, as of right now. But doesn't it feel like Eagles Chiefs is bound for CBS?
Yeah. And I would think, that's one of the primetime games as well. You got to get the whole Kelce brigade out.
Well, they got the Bills this year, too. That
Bills is a big game. Yeah.
Commanders, they get twice. The Lions are on this schedule.
Yeah, I mean, their schedule's like, on paper, it looks like a murderer's row.
They're going to set an NFL record for most playoff teams played from the previous year on the schedule.
Now, some of those
breaking their own records.
Some of those teams aren't going to be as good as they were last year, so it won't end up as bad as it looks. But right now, if you look at the 3 games, and we're talking about 3 games, I mentioned this consistently because everybody plays the same. They play each other, division opponents. The NFC East is playing the NFC North in conference, which, by the way, was the best division last year. And they're playing the AFC West as the interconference opponent. So everybody's got to play the same 4. But then you have the 3 games. You have the 2 conference opponents and the interconference opponent. And for the Eagles, that's the LA Rams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and if there's one team that's had the Eagles number, it's Tampa Bay. And the interconference opponent is Buffalo on the road. Those 3 games compared to Washington and Dallas and the Giants, who doesn't matter because they're not good enough, but that's a big difference. That is a big difference. Now, maybe Matthew Stafford's hurt. Maybe Baker Mayfield's hurt. Maybe Josh Allen's hurt, depending on maybe key guys are hurt. That's a possibility. But on paper, and then you talk about Detroit, as you mentioned, Green Bay again, Minnesota again, Kansas City, Chargers are getting better. Broncos are getting better.
Raiders are even getting better.
Yeah. So on paper, it's a very difficult schedule.
It'll be a fun schedule, though. Again, if you like the primetime games, John and I aren't crazy about them, but I do.
I'm telling you, I don't think the fans are either. I think there are some fans who love them, but
I agree with you. I think
who have work in the morning and stuff, like
people who have kids, they don't want to get
I mean, it's like
people, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to stay up for these games.
But obviously, from a macro, it works because they get the biggest ratings, obviously. So I get why they do it. I'm just saying, I don't know if they're as loved as people think.
Oh, by the way, if the Eagles play on Christmas, like I think they're going to, that means they're probably going to be playing on Saturday because there's going to be a Saturday slate before that. So
is Christmas? When is Christmas this year?
Christmas is a Thursday, but when I was told there's going to be a Saturday slate in week 16, 17, and 18.
Yeah. The Saturday games. I don't like them either. Feels collegey to me.
Yeah.
It's very collegey. I remember I was a kid, the Eagles played the 49ers on a Saturday. It was Garcia versus McNabb. The Eagles played like garbage. Like literally, I think they got in the end zone like 5 times and they didn't score. Or the red zone, sorry. And I was just like, this is so stupid. Well, if they played on Sunday, this wouldn't be a problem.
Sunday, 1:00.
Yeah,
you have to get
are the best, but we're not going to get a lot of that.
Well, you know what? But while I say that, and obviously it can't be that way, but I do think it's more fun. I think one of the thing is to check the scoreboard. Like you're watching a game, commercial, blah, blah, blah. Check the scoreboard. There's other games. There's other stuff going on. You know, when you have a standalone game, and more games are becoming standalone as they go to different days, and it's a shitty game, you got nothing else. You know?
It sucks. It's, as someone who covers the whole league, I like the 1 o'clock games personally because I think my game stories click more because not everybody's watching it.
Absolutely. I know that from YouTube. I mean, we get more. If the viewership period is longer, obviously. So from a business perspective, yeah, I like earlier for that reason.
I mean, Zander, I love you. I don't think I want to watch it at 1 a.m.
No, I know. Now there are people that do, but I agree with your sentiment that overall there's not going to be as many people tuned in at 1, 2, 3 in the morning with work in the morning. No doubt about it. Jeff, I want you to
Sunday Night Baseball last night, and I was just like, I hate Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah, no, Phillies were on last night. It was a good game though, and they won the series in that game, so they're playing pretty good baseball right now. Jeff, I want to run this by and tell me what you think. Last year, the NFC North had 3 teams going to the playoffs, and it was a pretty damn good division last year. I think the East has a chance to be this year's version of the North, with the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Eagles all heading to the playoffs. Do you think I'm way off base with that? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think so, but I think what's going to happen is the records aren't going to show it because they're going to be canceling each other out because they play each other this year. I thought that's why the North was as good as they were. By the way, they went 0-3 in the playoffs, the North.
Yes, they did.
Which was actually kind of funny because I used to write my early reactions columns in December every week, and I got NFC North fans really pissed that, the NFC North's overrated. Or the NFC North isn't as good as everybody says it is. Oh, look at the records. I'm like, okay, well, it's almost like the college football bowl theory. Well, show me when it counts, when you're playing somebody else. And
well, now college football bowls, by the way, don't matter at all.
I'm talking about back in the day when they were litmus tests. Now, who cares?
Well, I mean, I do think it's the old adage, and this proved true for the Eagles. Yeah, that it's better to play your best football late. But even because I always point to the Rams, like I didn't think much of the Rams, and now I think very highly of the Rams. But Detroit had all the injuries. I mean, they were a good team. I don't think anybody doubts that, except the small, crazy section of Eagles fans who think they weren't good. They just had too many injuries. Minnesota, the offensive line bit them in the ass. Again, they've tried to fix that this offseason. And Green Bay was a little bit of a disappointment. I would say of those 3 teams, the one that was a disappointment was Green Bay. But, the Rams started playing their best football late.
Yeah.
And I always said I didn't believe in the Rams, except for that awful middle linebacker, but I say it all the time. But
he's not there anymore.
Yeah, I know. Christian Roseboom, I think it was.
Yep, it was.
Jared Verse, I'm like, he's a good rookie. What's all the hype about?
We saw it.
Yeah. And then I'm like, Lane and Jordan are telling me how good he is. And I'm like, all right.
He's becoming one of my favorite players in the league, by the way. Just his demeanor. I like the trash talk out of him. He backs up the trash talk. He embraces it. He got in. He had a fun, little back and forth with Eagles fans. He said, "Look, I love him." He said, "Bring it."
Oh yeah, I like that too. He was like, yeah, he's walking around. It was freezing, obviously snow game. He's walking around with no shirt.
I think he deleted the tweet, but I think someone posted a story about how he says he still can't get over the Eagles loss, and an Eagles fan joked which one, and he said the one that counted or something like that. And everybody just went on the fire. I know what he meant, the divisional round game.
Yeah, who cares? The regular. Well, I mean, you care, but he's talking about the big game. And I get it. Yeah, I get it too. But hey, fans are fans. And they're going to spike the football, and they should spike the football. And they're going to spike the football on the Dallas Cowboys kickoff opener Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys.
I agree with
Lincoln
Zander. They're going to be showing Jerry Jones more than they show the banner raising.
They are going to be showing Jerry a lot. Let's be real.
Maybe I'll remember this one.
You know, it's funny. I haven't ever said this to Romo, but I always wanted to. When he was dating Underwood and Simpson and all that, and when he failed, I always used to yell to the TV, show Carrie Underwood now. I do it with Taylor Swift. Show her now. Show her when her boy is failing.
Well, I mean,
they'll never do it, but
yeah,
they'll show Jerry though. They'll show Jerry.
Oh yeah, showing Jerry when his team's failing is like one of the greatest things in sports.
I know.
Man, in the second half, he's about 6 gin and tonics in. So.
You know who has a great failing face, like he's really pissed? Magic Johnson. I love when they show him when the Lakers lose or the Commanders now lose. It's like if he's there, you can tell he's like, all right, yeah.
I don't know.
The face of that's all right, peasants. I'm up another $1 billion this year. I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But with the Carrie Underwood stuff and Jessica Simpson and Taylor Swift, I mean, I'm usually at games, so I don't see it as much, but who cares? Why is everybody?
Yeah, it's never bothered me.
It's never bothered.
Way overblown.
You guys heard what bothered the Swifties over the last couple of weeks, right?
No, I don't keep up with the Swifties.
When the president of the United States decided to make a joke about Taylor Swift during the
they got all upset about that. Yeah, I don't follow.
A lot of people were laughing.
I don't follow the Swifties that much. I am surprised that Travis has lasted this long. They're still cooking. I'm surprised by that.
He's in love, John.
Yeah. Well, now that she has a history of,
She has a history
kicking men to the curb.
She needs a new album. She'll move.
Yeah,
on.
exactly. She needs a new album.
Oh, by the way, don't ever. Swifties fans are the worst types of fans in the world. So her CD came out last year, and I've been a big. I'll just say this: I've been to my fair share of Taylor Swift concerts over there. But when she was younger,
you're a Swiftie, Jeff. That's what you just beat around the bush. Just say you like Taylor Swift. It's all right, bro.
She grew up near Jeff, so
yeah.
Evidently,
so I used to see her back when she was 18 or 20, but I haven't seen a Taylor Swift concert since 2012, and I have literally thought her last album sucked, and her last 3 albums have not been good.
Jeff,
I wish you go back.
You're a Swiftie. Stop beating around the bush.
You're not going to lie to me. You have no idea what a Swiftie is. They're insane.
Yeah. Well, hey, I have one Taylor Swift story which I told. I had no idea. So UFC was in Philadelphia, at the Wells Fargo Center. This is many years ago. I think it was Rashad Evans was in the main event. That's how it was. Tito Ortiz was still. That's how long ago it was. But
oh wow, that's
for MMA people.
Yeah.
I believe that was the one. But I'm driving to the Wells Fargo. Had no idea something else was going on. And this is before Taylor Swift took off to the degree that she has. But she was still playing Lincoln Financial Field. I had no idea. I get out of the parking lot at Wells Fargo Center. And all these teenage girls are there. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It's like, this is UFC. This is not where teenage girls are typically. And sure enough, she was next door, happened to work out that way. And even though UFC cards end really late, I mean, really late, I got out of there. I couldn't get out of that parking lot for freaking 2 hours. That's how much of a circus it was.
So when she got into the Lincoln Financial Field stratosphere, I was out. I used to like when she played at the Sovereign Center, which
the Reading Sovereign Center?
Yes, that's what I would see. Or First Energy Stadium. That's when I would see her
play. Yeah. She's too big for that now.
Oh, but, yeah. She played at the Bryce Jordan Center when I was at Penn State and
hey, well, now I know from UFC, from WWE, from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Dallas Cowboys to Taylor Swift, all fan bases are toxic. They just are.
Fan is short for fanatic.
They just are.
Jeff, I didn't know you were such a Swiftie fan. I love it though.
She grew up 10 minutes from me. Like I knew people who knew her, like personally. Some still don't.
I hate
Who did we
this
have
guy
on,
who
John,
grew
that
up
talked about the first
10
time
minutes
she
down the
spent?
street. You don't have to like them if they grow up 10 minutes down the street.
Yeah. Or as Ross Tucker and I joke about this all the time. She grew up near us, so we like whether we like her or not.
All right.
We had somebody on who told the story of when she sang at the Sixers game before she was like a star. I forget who it was though.
It was like 20. Yeah, that was like 2003. So it
was like real early.
I'll give you my old Taylor Swift story. This is 1999 in Reading. She was called upon to sing the national anthem because the other person bowed out, and she said she could do it. And she did it, and she's done it multiple. I remember it was like 30 degrees. I want to say it was like 2006 or 2007. It was like opening day, and they got her to sing the national anthem, and she crushed it. And like that was the only thing we had to cheer for the entire game because one, Reading wasn't good, and two, it was cold.
That's not a good combination. But you get Taylor Swift. I was there before Taylor Swift became a global superstar.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? We never would have guessed she would have became what she became. We thought she was going to be a really good country singer, but
yeah, she was a country singer first.
Yes, and that's why a lot of us liked her. That's why
Well, I appreciate production. I'll say that. My cousin likes Taylor Swift. She's my older cousin, but I appreciate how big she does her show. She definitely does a good job. Jeff, I want to get to the football here. I want to talk about this game. I know there's
too much Taylor. We're going to lose people.
Yeah, we're really going into Taylor.
Well, no, there is an element to where I agree with you, where it sucks to talk about win loss. I get it, but they got George Pickens coming in now. With their tandem of their double receivers. What do you think they're able to do in this game here coming into Philly week 1? Do you think George Pickens makes a big difference for the Dallas Cowboys?
To win.
For the Eagles or for the Cowboys?
One or the other.
I think George Pickens makes a difference. I think he'll make a splash in that game. I'm going to feel bad for whoever is the quarterback opposite Quignon.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, there's some uncertainty there.
I'm ready for it now. George Pickens, 4 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown. Keely Ringo stinks. This guy stinks. Bench him.
Does Keely Ringo stink? That's a real question.
You're gonna get that, by the way. If that happens, you're gonna get that, Jeff. You're gonna get that.
Oh, you're gonna get. Oh, by the way, my other favorite thing happened these past 2 weekends.
Rookie camp.
Oh yeah, look how good Shedeur Sanders looks throwing in shorts.
Oh, what were some of those posts? I'm a Shedeur guy. What were some of those posts? Guys, that's rage bait. I mean, and the people who rage bait are so good at it now because it's so easy. It's so easy. All you got to do is Shedeur looks good in all caps, and he's throwing a check down, and you got 14 million views.
The one thing, I have a very difficult time lying to people. So Zander asked me, "What'd you see at rookie camp?" I'm like, nothing.
Nothing.
What am I going to say?
I told John to give me one takeaway.
Nothing.
Jeff, I wanted one. It could have been that somebody parked crooked. I don't care. It could have been anything.
I tell people.
He had a nothing burger for me, Jeff.
One during the COVID year, true story. I could tell it now because he's gone. During the COVID year, I noticed Jim Schwartz would always park crooked. This is when I used to be able to go around the back of the NovaCare complex, go on the field from the back. So Jeff knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Now we can't do that. But I could see Jim's car every day was right next to the side door. And it was crooked every day. And I just noticed. And I said, wow, Jim is the worst parker I've ever seen in my life. But so one day I'm going in, and this is, again, the COVID era. And his car's not there. And I noticed it because he parks crooked every day. And I noticed, and I, at that point, evidently wasn't feeling well. But in those days, it was made out to be a bigger, because, if you tested positive, you're going to miss a game or whatever. And, I said, where's Jim? And some of the Eagles PR people, what do you mean, where's Jim? And I go, well, he's not here. His car's not here. They're like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Because COVID was so, panicky. And sure enough, he was fine the next day. Didn't test positive. and he was back with his crooked car. But yeah, so I do tell people, Sanders, to your point, if somebody parks crooked,
There you go.
but I'm not going to lie to people. And the other people saying, blah, 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 look great at rookie camp. We're out there for 15 minutes. They're not doing anything.
An individual period.
Yeah.
Wait, I did have one takeaway, John, from what you said about rookie camp. All right. You said this. You said Kyle McCord handled himself like an NFL quarterback.
He does.
And I took that. That was one takeaway that I took from what you said.
You know what's it? You know how stupid the whole shells portion of minicamp. There were actual credible people saying last year Kenny Pickett was sharper than Jalen Hurts. Think about that. And I'm like, you guys sound so stupid. You do. You learn.
Go
ahead.
The whole OTA minicamp section was kind of disjointed last year because if you remember, they were doing a bunch of Kellen Moore stuff, motion, blah blah blah, and they were doing and they didn't look good.
The highlight of minicamp last year was Martin Frank stumping Jalen Hurts.
What'd he do?
Don't you remember when Martin asked him about Kellen Moore? You remember that at the end of training camp? And he gave Jalen 2 chances to answer the question, and he just couldn't answer it.
Well, Jalen's not in the mood to answer something.
Yeah, Jalen doesn't answer shit.
No, but don't you remember him saying it's taking a while to get? I forget the whole quote.
That's one thing that bothers me with Jalen, though. He won't answer shit like that. And then he gives you a holier than thou attitude. And then when he goes and throws a lot of yards versus Steelers, he comes out and said, "Oh, is that what y'all wanted to see?" Yeah. And everybody glazes.
John still asked when I was trying to do a story about how him and Barkley were trained together in the offseason, because apparently that's a big secret, even though the one side told me it. And Jalen goes to me when I ask, "What'd you mean?" Like, come on, Jalen.
Yeah, well, he'll put you on the spot occasionally.
Oh, he will.
I
should have saw it coming, and I didn't.
Well, I've had a number of conversations back and forth that people take out of context.
And I was just like, "Well, did you not train together?" And I know the answer to it.
But the only point I'm trying to make is people are bamboozling you if they're telling you, "Oh, certain so look great at rookie camp." First of all, half of the people who say this aren't even there. Second of all, the ones who are there saying it, they're just scripting.
That's engagement for them.
Yeah. Half of them aren't even there. I'm like, where's this guy? What?
John and I like to play that game when we see it. Where are they? There's 10 people here.
Making these declarative statements about so-and-so look good at rookie camp. I'm like, okay, all right. But people bite it. They bite on it.
They don't know. And I don't expect them to know. Like if you're just a casual fan trying to get news, you really care where you're getting the news?
Well, you should, because
I know you should.
If you're not getting relevant news or honest news, are you really getting news? I would argue.
You know what? I actually went after a business that they said that basically along the lines is we sold out of our product. And I said, well, yeah, you did, because you limited the amount of product you were selling, even though it was at the golf tournament this weekend. You're manipulating it.
Well, that's fine.
They missed out on money because there was a.
Oh, that's what I said. You're missing out on money. That'd be like Zander going, "Oh man, we're only gonna do Burns 365 for a half an hour."
Yeah, that would be like me missing a Monday after a football game. That would be insanity.
Well, that's why I didn't go to the White House, because it was.
Well, you're a dedicated employee.
It was Monday after the NFL draft. I'm like, I can't miss that show.
That was brutal scheduling. I know you were down there for that, Jeff. Though that was pretty cool.
Oh,
Jeff, ready? I want to give you an over/under on the game. Over/under 65 yards for George Pickens in Week 1 versus the Eagles.
Let's go over. Why not? Why not?
He's gonna get 4 for 140, and everybody's gonna go, Cadley Ringo sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait, because this game is gonna have bigger ramifications than you guys are giving credit to. The Eagles are gonna be tough. The Cowboys fans are gonna base their Super Bowl chances on how they fare versus the Eagles in week
I just
one.
love.
And
I
the
just
Eagles
love.
fans, no matter what, are going to think that we're better than everybody, and who cares whether we win or that we lose? We're still going to get it all together. It's going to be a perfect week one matchup for storyline.
It is a perfect week one. It is a perfect week one
You
matchup.
think any Cowboys fan is brave enough to go in the Lincoln Financial Field for week
Yeah,
one?
they should be. What are they for? Internet warriors? Come on, go into Philly. Philly's fine. You're not going to get hit unless you
That's what I say. Nothing's going to happen. This isn't the days of the vet where you actually did get beat.
Yeah, you're not getting anything. Most people are 99% of people are all talk.
Now you're calling them soft, and they're gonna.
I'm not calling them soft. I'm just saying that they don't.
Saying they hide behind their non-existent whatever
There's a better
profile
chance of a Philly
picture
fan fighting another Philly fan than there is fighting a Cowboy fan.
I'll tell you what, John and I would enjoy that because we just like to watch chaos. We don't care what it is.
I like the people. Always the biggest assholes on X and all. They all have their fake avatars, but none of them ever put their real name or if you can't do that, just shut up.
They're afraid their non-existent boss at their unemployed job is going to find them.
Yeah.
We're taking a lot of shots this morning.
Trust me, I took a couple shots this weekend.
Hey, believe me, there's going to be one guy, because Zander said on May 12th, over under 65 on George Pickens. There's going to be one guy.
I love it.
There's going to be one guy if Ringo shuts him down. McMullen and Krause said he was going to get 140. There's going to be one guy.
Yeah. There always is.
I know both of you. I know both of you do not think Ringo fares well versus George Pickens. I know that for a fact.
They were teammates in college.
I like Ringo.
I do too. I think he's better than people think, and I know the Eagles think that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, he's been here for 2 years. He's going.
But I know how I know how this business works. Darius Slay apparently sucked until he didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Darius Slay, no, suck. Come on.
Oh,
but I hear you. I hear you. I know what people say.
I hate Slay now because he's not here. I'm like, Jesus, come on, man.
Yeah, Darius.
If you're Dak Prescott coming into the game, though, Jeff, where are you targeting in the secondary? You're going right at Ringo, and you're going right at Andrew McCuba, assuming he's the starter.
Yeah, I would go after Andrew.
I would go right
after.
If
I was Dak, I'd throw 50 times at Andrew McCuba.
I'm curious to see Cooper DeJean in that game because they got the best slot receiver in football.
That doesn't affect Cooper. You know what affects Cooper?
Kay Adams.
Kay affects us all, but very nice woman. Very nice woman. No, route running. And CD's good, but I'm talking. You have one bad game. It's against Adam Thielen.
Everybody has a bad game against him.
Turned him, just perfect route running. You don't have to worry about that.
Adam Thielen said he's going to retire next year.
He's a great receiver, though, John.
He's a great receiver, but he doesn't have a problem with that. Same thing with Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the world.
Well, Jamar Chase doesn't line up exclusively in the slot. He was in there for that fourth down.
Well, either a CD. He plays outside as well.
Yeah, but he's going to be in the slot a lot more.
Well, he does, but it doesn't bother. Athleticism doesn't bother. It's the technique and the refinement.
So are you predicting it's clamps in week one for Cooper DeJean?
I never say clamps because you've been doing this show how long now with me? The Eagles play so much goddamn zone. Nobody's clamping anything.
Yeah, we don't have lockdown corners. We
talk
about that a lot,
Yeah. They don't clamp. They don't have lockdown. They're very structured and disciplined with high football IQ. Yeah.
I just can't wait for it. I mean, you know what? I'm telling you guys, this is what I love about the Phillies, being on the Phillies beat right now. Everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Or everybody's great. Like Trey Turner sucked all year. And then I posted a stat.
Now he's great.
Yeah, no, Trey
Is
Turner.
He great again?
He's red hot right now.
I posted a stat. Trey Turner has been hitting 300 over his last 162 games. But apparently he sucked this whole time. They treat Phillies losses like they do Eagles losses. I try telling people, don't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's bad for your mental health.
We got a Peacock holiday exclusive.
What? Oh, did they announce it?
I'm trying to figure out. No, just that they're going to have exclusive games. No, they haven't
Well,
said.
well,
who.
no, they have one a year.
I'm
Oh, it's a
reading the
Saturday. I
press
see your
release.
retweet.
Yeah.
It's the Saturday game, right? They got the
We'll
Saturday
be
game.
home. NBC Universal will be home to Week 17 NFL primetime games on consecutive nights. Peacock holiday exclusive on Saturday, December 27th, and Sunday Night Football, obviously. So it's just Peacock showing off their feathers.
Oh yeah, here it is. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? They had fun CBS story. They had
Yeah, by the
game-
way, is CBS fighting? Can you tell us anything? They're fighting for Eagles Chiefs. Break the news.
they're fighting for Eagles Chiefs and Eagles Bills, and I know they're going to get one of them.
All right, there we go. See?
So that's all I know. I don't know. So I'm just going to say this with the Peacock game. Here's the story for you. So I think it was 2-3 years ago. I forget. The first year Peacock had the exclusive game, no one at our company had Peacock except me. So they're like, you got to work that night. It was I forget who the Chargers played, but the Chargers kicked the crap out of whoever they played, and I think Easton Stick was the quarterback.
Easton Stick, yeah. Carson Wentz, North Dakota State.
So they didn't announce the teams, but they got that game on Saturday, December. So I'm assuming there's going to be 2 NFL Network games in that on the 27th.
Boy, the NFL schedule's a pain in the ass.
Oh, it is. Oh, jeez. It's
now they have so many. They're going to have a game on YouTube, I think, this year.
Yeah, the Brazil game. By the way, that's Chiefs Chargers.
At what point is this diminishing returns, man? Because you're now getting pulled in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, and now you got to make everybody happy.
Yeah, I wonder if this is gonna, if eventually it's got to steady back out to, a few that win everything out. And
by the way, I got to give this guy credit. I don't know who it is. There's a good feel. I have a good feeling he knows the schedule or has it. But there's this Twitter account. It's called Aussie NFL. Everybody's been
I've seen him
shitting on the guy for a while now. He's 3 for 3.
Well, Aussie NFL.
Don't bring him up to John. You better keep the same energy with Jeff Kerr. He ripped people at the start of the show. He said, I don't want to hear one schedule leak in my DM.
I don't give a shit. I'm not paying it. If it doesn't come from the NFL, I don't want to hear about it. All these guys speculating, and sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. Hey, there's all these weirdos that have people that work for the Eagles, and they might get a glimpse of the schedule. Good for them. I don't care.
I got it early last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get it.
I usually get it early. I usually get it,
I literally tell the powers that be in the NFL, guys, I have to type the entire schedule.
I
need it.
Yeah.
I need it for my job. I ain't going to go on Twitter and brag about who they're playing. I don't care.
Yeah, you get it about 4 or 5 hours, usually.
That's all I ask them. Like, just give it to me Wednesday morning. I'll do it.
They always release the opener early, right? Like even last year when
the kickoff game's always released on the Today.
Yeah, on the Monday, right, or whatever it is of the week.
Well, I can give you that. Let me pull that up real quick. There's a whole schedule for the schedule for the NFL schedule.
The schedule release.
A schedule for the schedule. Yeah.
Fox is announcing a game today too.
Hey, listen, I'm a show host. I appreciate the way the NFL does it because they figure out something to give us each week. There's a couple weeks of the year.
I'm just gonna tell you guys this. I'm not a rocket scientist here, but Netflix is making an announcement Wednesday. I guarantee you it's their Christmas games because that's the only games they have.
Yeah. Right. Breaking news, Jeff Kerr. Well done. So Jeff's right. Fox is going to announce something today. Prime Video is going to announce something today.
I bet Prime Video announces their first Thursday night game this year.
ESPN is Tuesday on Good Morning America. They're going to announce something.
That'll be Monday Night Football Week 1. Guarantee it.
Jeff Kerr, CBS is going to be Wednesday on CBS Mornings announcing the Eagles Chiefs. We can break that. No, I'm joking.
I'll let Burleson do it.
And Netflix on Wednesday as well, plus the NFL Network on Good Morning Football is going to announce all the international games on Tuesday.
By the way, if you're an Eagles fan, don't pay attention to that because you're not playing an international game this year.
Yeah.
100% book it.
Well, that's good news.
Madrid-Spain game.
How many 1 o'clock games you guys think we're getting? 4?
No.
They're going to have to get a couple.
Yeah, couple.
Well, now the Bears might be destined for
Couple, you
I
think
still,
less
I
than
still say
4?
the Bears are going to be Thursday Night Football.
Wait, you guys think less than 4? 4 out of 17? That's a pretty low number, no?
They're big ticket.
They're big,
Oh,
yeah.
man, we're going to be 4:30.
Well, it's going to be a bunch of 4 o'clock games, a bunch of you're going to get 6 primetime games.
I wonder if Fox will do with the Eagles like CBS did with the Chiefs last year. And CBS execs told me this. They purposely made sure they got as many Chiefs games as they could. And I think they ended up getting 9.
Yeah. Chiefs are dying.
Is this the year that, yeah. Is this, I was going to say, is this the year the Chiefs come back to earth or they don't go as far?
I think so.
I think so too.
Okay, so let's play this game. Who goes in their place?
I think the Bills are positioned nicely. I think the Ravens
But
are
can they
positioned
beat?
nicely.
But can they beat the Chiefs in the playoffs? That's
a good question. I just don't. I wonder if the Chiefs are going to go. You guys remember, obviously, Brady they dominated for the better part of 20 years, but there was a 10-year window where they kind of had to regroup their team. I'm not saying the Chiefs are at that level, but I do wonder if they're going to need a couple years to kind of rebuild.
Well, I pick the Ravens every year, so one of these years they're going to break through.
So I got really upset as a big Lamar Jackson fan. This whole stupid Twitter debate, who's better, Jalen or Lamar? I don't care. But you gotta hear You gotta hear Ravens fans. If you put Lamar on the Eagles, he win the Super Bowl. I said, no, he wouldn't. I've seen Lamar in the playoffs. He just doesn't do what he does in the regular season.
No, this is what bothers me about this whole conversation.
And it's not like the Ravens aren't talented.
One thing is you can never isolate obviously the quarterback because they play with the team. So it's impossible to isolate. If you're talking about isolated, I think anybody with a brain could admit that Lamar Jackson is a more talented player than Jalen. He's one of the most talented guys to ever grace any sport for crying
Lamar
out loud.
Jackson,
he's that good.
He should beat the Bills last year. Mark Andrews dropped a pass and Lamar fumbled. You know,
but this is Jeff. This is what bothers me about the discourse on Hurts. People take away from Hurts because he has a good team, but he won. Like if you have a good team and you win with it, why do you get knocked for that when Josh Allen and Lamar can't win and people say, well, he doesn't have as good of a team? Well, yeah, he didn't win.
I'll tell you what,
if he did have the team and they did win, I wouldn't take away from that for them. But people take away from Jalen Hurts because he's got a good supporting cast.
But why? Well, my argument, because I certainly don't do that. In fact, I pointed out, there's never been there's never been a Super Bowl winning quarterback that ever won with a shitty team. Never. Not once. Doesn't work that way.
Well, you know what the comeback is for a lot of these Hurts haters? Duffer won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. And he won it with a really good team.
Yeah, probably the greatest defensive ball. By the way, I'm telling you, Zander, it never used to be like this when Troy Aikman was winning them as a game manager. The game manager was really good in the playoffs and in Super Bowls.
Troy Aikman's in the Hall of Fame, so I'll take that for Jalen Hurts all freaking day.
No, don't worry, Eagles fans. Jalen Hurts, Lamar, Josh Allen, you'll see them all in Cooperstown. Can't. Don't worry about it.
They will be. And the Lamar playoff thing, that was legit early in his career. The past couple of years, he's played some really freaking good playoff games.
Yeah, I mean, you know where he gets ripped, though? That AFC Championship game I covered. And again, not all his fault, but he wasn't Superman.
No. Well,
and that's where they get on him.
Yeah. I mean, it's broken. I say it all the time. Quarterback evaluation is broken. It's not Jalen's fault. He's on a good team. Nobody's winning a Super Bowl who isn't on a good team, period. End of sentence. Nobody ever has.
John McMullen has the best comeback for all of this. As long as you're in the conversation, does it matter?
Well, yeah, I believe that too.
But I hear you.
Yeah.
Jalen's in the conversation, top 5 quarterback, whether we think he is or not. People consider it.
Yeah, he's in the conversation. Not in the conversation to be number 1. I will say that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not an insult. It's not, as everyone wants to paint it out to be, as disrespect. Everybody's so disrespectful of the Eagles quarterback when he's on Time Magazine at the 100 most influential people in the world.
Yeah. He's an icon.
Yeah. It's the opposite of disrespect.
I'm
Everybody
just-
knows. Everybody who's not gripped in knows how good of a player he is. But you can also say there are a few, and a very few, small amount to Jeff's point, but there are a few that are better. And it's not disrespect.
Yeah, the best quarterbacks since I've been covering the NFL I've seen live. Lamar, Josh Allen, Mahomes. They're the three.
I think Josh Allen's the best quarterback in football right now.
Oh, Josh Allen's a stud. Like, he's so fun to watch.
He's
really-
And
everything.
and by the way, nobody's perfect. I would put Josh Allen ahead of Jalen Hurts. But I also point out, guess what? At times he's too reckless. He needs to improve on things as well. Nobody's perfect.
You know, I always say this: the tush push merchant, Jalen Hurts, he would have gotten that fourth down in the AFC Championship game, and that's what was so shocking about that game. When I'm watching that in the Eagles press box, I'm like, Josh Allen, how do you not get that?
Well,
you get it all the time.
He did get it.
Well, yeah, he did get it on second watch.
That's another thing.
He got it on second watch, but yes,
they blew the call. He did get it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying how I describe it in real time. I'm like, how did you not get that? And then he did get it. I'm like,
he did. Yeah. He did get it. So.
Oh, by the way, I'm asked this a lot because I do the NFL got rid of a couple officials this year. You think it's because they blow a lot of calls in favor of the Chiefs? I'm like, no, it really has nothing to do with the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't blame the officials for it. I'm not a conspiracy guy.
I'm not.
They miss calls all the time, but they trying
always
to get
miss calls.
They're trying to get it right.
They're human. They're not perfect.
Yeah, and that's the case. That's your joke. It's like, that's in the record book, right? Josh Allen did not get the tush push on twice, right? It was twice.
It was twice.
He did get it.
He did get it.
They blew the call. It was a bad spot. He did get it.
And now the Bills want to get rid of it.
Well, the league is. We're going to talk about this next week because the league is going to get rid of it, but they're going to remove pushing from the game, which is
pre-2005 rules. Yeah. By the way, Eagles fans, take it as a badge of honor.
Yeah. By the way,
the team you root for created an unstoppable play that the league had to interfere to get rid of.
When is that? Like next week?
May 20th to 21st.
It'll be next week. And I can't wait for John's first question at Nick. Nick, what do you think about the tush push getting banned?
Oh, I'm not asking him that question because I don't give a two shits about it. They're going to be the best quarterback sneak team in football. Without it,
they were. They were
as
actually more Jeff.
Yes.
Before that.
So to your point of being an unstoppable play, that's bullshit. It was actually not. It was a bunch of people stopped it. Not a lot, but a bunch of people stopped it. Jacksonville stopped it. A couple other teams stopped it. Percentage-wise,
why, John? Why are you so confident that they're going to be the best sneak team in football?
Because
they were before.
Yeah, but that's a different time.
No, was it Jalen? They did with Jalen.
Yeah, they did. They were.
I can't wait until Jalen.
When though? Like what year are you guys talking about?
When he took over as a starter, so 2021. He's the best quarterback sneak team in football.
So you're just assuming they're going to be the best team in 2025 because they were in 2021, or what?
Yes.
Well, because the quarterback can squat 600 pounds, and Landon Dickerson's still there.
Jordan Mailata.
Player. I mean, they're different player. It's a different team, but I got you.
Jordan Mailata.
I'm just asking
way
for
better in
clarification.
25 than he is in 21.
No, Jalen Hurts doesn't even need the bucket. I've been saying it for years. Doesn't need it. At times now, because teams have become so ultra focused on it because of all the bullshit, it is more difficult with the tush push than if they spread them out. I've said this numerous times. What I would do, Nick Sirianni, if you're listening, spread them out and let Jalen pick the bubble, and you're going to convert it damn near 100% of the time. And when you don't convert it, it's going to be because of a penalty, not because you didn't get it. Somebody's going to jump early. They were literally, and Jeff's Mr. Statistic. He knows the stats better than me. You can go back to Carson Wentz. They were the best quarterback
They were
team
perfect
in
their Super
football.
Bowl season.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I remember you guys giving the stats on Wentz too, and they were.
I'm telling you, what is this league going to do if Jalen runs for 20 touchdowns next year because of that quarterback sneak?
Well, I think it may be a little bit more difficult. It will make it a little bit more difficult near the goal line.
Yeah, agreed.
But not in field. Not in field. Yeah.
We'll have a plan in place. They're
you know.
I mean, they have Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert. Like they should be able to figure something out at the goal line.
Yeah.
So when Jalen throws for like 40 touchdowns, is he a real quarterback now?
That's not going to happen.
He's not going to throw.
He'll never do that. No. Hey, if he does do that, that's going to be awesome. But
yeah, it's not going to be good if he does, because that means you're behind a lot. Blah blah blah.
Well,
but it's not going to happen.
Don't tell that to Bengals fans.
It's not going to happen.
It's better to be behind and come back than to dominate. I've heard that one too.
No, it isn't.
I said, I'm like, are you guys like, what are you like drinking that you say this?
Yeah. I mean, one of the, and Jeff can speak this out. Now, last year was a little bit different because you had Baltimore and the Eagles having historic running games. You know, both. I think the Eagles were 6th all time, so the Ravens were ahead of the Eagles, so they were top 6 as well. All time.
I was it's funny. I was secretly hoping Derrick Henry would pass Saquon. Because I wanted the backlash.
The fans would have went nuts, but
the fans would have went nuts. I think a couple other people would have went nuts that are kind of important to this rushing record.
The whole I hear it every year. One of my pet peeves. All the good teams run the football a lot. All the good teams run the football a lot. And like they discover this every year. Every year.
You mean when they're winning at halftime, they run the football a lot?
Yes. And generally when you win a lot, you're ahead late. So what do? You close out the game, you run the football. The classic correlation causation. Yes. Good teams run the football more than bad teams.
I've never gotten so much hate on Twitter when they did the run the ball chant in 23. And I'm like, no. 1, they're losing. 2, the running back can't do what you want him to do. How dare you talk DeAndre Swift like that? He's a 1,000-yard rusher. I'm like, he stinks. He stinks.
Well, I'm wondering, I'm looking at this thing.
Miles Sanders ran for 1,000 yards. John will tell you.
Well, he just brought this up with Lamar versus Jalen.
Pro Bowl running back. Pro Bowl running back.
But I didn't realize Derrick Henry had 80 less yards than Saquon Barkley last year.
He had
a hell of a year.
Zay Flowers had the same amount of receiving yards as AJ Brown last year. Like they had a pretty similar.
Well, AJ missed a couple games too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think Zay.
The Ravens' running game was freaking unbelievable.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But that's where I think Jalen gets a little bit unfairly docked for having a good team. Like, if you have a good team, that's fine. You can say that.
Well, here's what I would say.
Like, Lamar's team is good enough to win.
Here's what I would say about the people who unfairly dock, however you want to describe it, Jalen Hurts, because he has a good team. They're idiots, so turn the page. Lamar has a good team.
Ignore them.
Patrick has a good team.
Fan discourse wouldn't exist if it was that simple.
Well, it is that simple from a personal level. If it bothers you,
want to have fun and being fans, That's
it legitimately bothers some people.
You know how you want to have fun, Zander? Talk to them like real people instead of behind a computer screen.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I love the fans, but I mean, in the offseason in May, if you think they're not going to have these conversations, you're just out of play. I mean, they're gonna. Whether we like it or not, doesn't matter.
I mean, I find it entertaining because I like chaos. So
I find it entertaining too. I've never had an issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking to the people that legitimately get angry about it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense on
Nothing
base
about
level.
Football gets me angry. It's inconsequential.
I'll tell you what, I give Eagles fans a ton of credit, but someone said they one thing Jalen does better than Lamar, and someone posted a picture of him hosting the Vince Lombardi Trophy. I'm like, oh, you knew that was coming.
Yeah, well,
that's it. Yeah, but that's one of the things I hate about quarterback discourse, and I hate that. I legitimately hate it. You're right. Football's inconsequential, but I hate discourse over quarterbacks because it all boils down. Well, he won the Super Bowl. Like there's not, 46, 45 other guys trying to win it with him. And this is anybody. This is from Jalen Hurts to Patrick Mahomes to the best example of it all is Eli Manning because the front four dominated both of their upset wins.
It's the whole adage. It's the most important position in football.
How many times?
I hear what you're saying. The problem with it is that because the game is the way the game is, there's only the most pragmatic, non-emotional person would view it like you. And like Jeff said, there's fans. Fans are by nature fanatics. They're emotional. So there's never going to be an evaluation of quarterbacks that's 100% objective, like you're talking about. It's a game.
Well, no, I get that, but it is, there is one. There's so many cliches in football. One of them, Nick Sirianni says all the time, is, biggest team sport, whatever. It is the ultimate team sport. He says constantly.
Oh, it is. Football is definitely.
It is compared to the other sports. Now, one of the others is football's the most. You hear Howie say it all the time. He said it last time I talked to him. Is football's the most quarterback's the most important position in professional sports. I would argue there was one more important position on a particular day, and Jeff will agree with me. I think on this.
Is it baseball?
Starting pitcher.
Yep.
On a particular day, but even in the old days where guys would throw complete games and things like that, nobody ever had a problem pointing out that, well, Kirk Gibson hit a home run, or, so-and-so hit a home run, or, somebody made a great play at third base, even though if you don't have that pitcher shutting down the other team, Justin Verlander being the most notable in recent years of being so dominant in the playoffs, nobody has a problem pointing out.
This is the perfect example of the spotlight though a starting pitcher will get. Aaron Nola. The Phillies have scored 13 total runs in 8 games Aaron Nola has pitched when he's pitching, but Aaron Nola sucks.
Well, you're right. I mean, pitchers. Yeah, you're right. When somebody's not getting,
when they're not getting it, they don't.
John, there's one other position I'd put in your equation. Now, you won't like it because you're not a hockey guy, but I think the goalie.
The goalie,
I mean, why haven't the Flyers won in 20 years?
The goalie can go win you a game. I recognize that, but
I'm
saying, but in the other sports, it seems to me nobody has a problem also talking about the guys who help the pitcher or the goalie.
Right.
In football, like everybody's like, Josh Sweat doesn't exist. Milton Williams doesn't exist. The defense that didn't let Patrick Mahomes pass the 50-yard line.
It's weird. I write an article about Milton Williams. No one cares. It's weird.
It's bizarre to me. It is bizarre to me that people can't open up their minds to that, at least to that degree. I get the fanaticism standpoint. But like I said, the best example, I can say Myles Garrett is better than Josh Sweat, and everybody goes, yeah, well, of course. Why would you even say that? Well, then why is quarterback different?
Good point. It's good point. It's good context. I agree.
We're just in this age, and again, it's nobody's fault. It's just you got to go with what clicks. You do. It sucks.
Yeah, not here. Jeff, great show today. All right, I'm going to make you do one thing on the way out here.
I apologize. We kept you long, Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm going to the Phillies game at 1. So
here we go, though, Jeff. All right, you're not going to be here for our legendary John's favorite show of the year.
The schedule release.
The schedule win-loss. But we got one game, Jeff, and you got to tell me whether it's a win or it's a loss. Eagles-Cowboys, September 4th, the Thursday night opener. Who wins the game, Jeff?
I'm going to go by the historical trend. Teams are 15-5 in the NFL kickoff.
Yeah, 15-5.
Super Bowl champions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So win.
All right.
All right. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but if you expand that to the whole season, the Eagles will go 17-0.
That is correct. They would be on 17-0 pay. By the way, one of my favorite tweets of the year is like when someone hits 2 home runs on opening day, and I'm like, oh, so-and-so.
Yeah, well, I said that about Aaron Judge. Yeah, he was on a pace for 160 at one point.
Yeah, Kyle Schwartz and Aaron Judge are on pace for 57 right now. It's a pretty good year.
It's a pretty good year. Yeah.
All right.
John, before I go, John, I broke the best news to John McMullen yesterday.
Aaron Judge hitting 400.
No, even better than that. The NFL uniform change. Your other favorite.
Oh yeah.
I saw John quote tweet that. I'm like, got him. Hook, line, and sinker.
Our long nightmare is over. Yeah. Thanks, NFL.
What is that rule now? It's like they can wear whatever helmet or something?
They can wear their alternate helmets with their primary jerseys, which I thought you could do before, and apparently you couldn't. So now you can wear the black helmet with the green jersey.
When Jeff doesn't even know the uniform rules, they're arcane, to say the least.
Yeah, like I thought, you know what? It's funny. Everybody went to the Eagles example. I actually thought the Panthers wore their black helmets with one of their uniform sets, and they're like, no, they didn't. They did not wear it with their black. I'm like, okay, then I stay corrected.
Black Eagles helmets. Everybody loves them. I feel like it's such it's like the cars. Everybody buys a car that has the black trim now. It's like
I got a car for red trim.
I like that. Like I like a little different, but all good. Jeff, we got to run, brother. We got a couple minutes left. I got some super chats to hit. We appreciate you doing it as always, my man. We'll catch up with you again next week. Enjoy the great schedule release this week, and then you're doing a great job covering Phillies as well. Thank you, Jeff.
Is my Christmas, boys. Thank you.
Yes,
thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
There's Jeff Kerr here from CBS Sports. Make sure you guys follow him at Jeff Kerr CBS. Does a great job. We appreciate him and the extra time he gave us here today on Birds 365.
Keep going with Jeff. Yeah. Just keep.
Yeah. Yeah, I love talking to Jeff. I think he enjoys doing it with us on a Monday. Let's get to some supers, though, Johnny Mac. Couple minutes left on the show here. Dank says, rest in peace, Sabu.
Yeah, Sabu, the pro wrestler, passed away, I believe, at 60.
Man, that's too early. It's too young.
Too early. Legendary, and especially locally for the old ECW with Swanson and Rittner in South Philadelphia. Very innovative. A lot of people very, in the industry as a whole, a lot of people got into the industry because of Sabu, so had a really big impact on it, and he passed away. And also he's the nephew of the legendary Original Sheik, who was probably one of the best drawing heels, as they call it, in the business of all time.
John, let me ask you a regular WWE question real quick. Is John Cena a good heel or no?
Well, he's great at everything he does. I think it hasn't gone as well as people would have hoped because they're trying to protect a certain someone, and they don't want him being cheered. So he's purposefully not getting, he's purposefully doing things because, modern fans like bad guys. They like cool bad guys.
Right.
And like John could do that in a second. For those who, remember early in his career when he was a heel, he would rap, he would talk people under the table.
He should have broke out the black jorts again.
he would destroy people on the microphone. He could do that in his sleep, but they don't want him doing that because they want a certain someone to not get booed.
So they're protecting someone. And come on, WWE. I haven't followed it. I'm not going to lie to you. The Game Time checks in. What's up, Game Time? Our resident Cowboy fans, John. He's great. He's got a big Big Cowboys YouTube channel. Appreciate you, brother. He says, watch out for the fake account. I saw that. I banned him out for Game Time, and he became a member as well. So Game Time, thank you, brother. Eagles Cowboys week 1 should be a good one. Dullahan Monster checks in. What's up, Dullahan? He says, how much is Micah getting paid, Johnny Mac? A lot.
What do you mean, this year or an extension when it comes down?
Why haven't they paid the guy? It's amazing they haven't paid him.
The Cowboys do what they do. He's on the final year of his rookie contract, so he's making. I'll look it up real quick. He's making $24 million because he made a bunch of all pros, Pro Bowl. So he gets a big spike in his final year of his rookie deal. So he's over $24 million. For an extension, he's going to set the standard. So wherever. He's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback whenever he signs his deal. Upwards near 40 million, I would say he'll get to.
Yeah, I agree. Devin Shanahan checking in, backing up what I was saying earlier about the Philly fans. He says, my fan is Philly fans, except my father, who's a Bills fan. He wore his Allen jersey rookie year to the link, and he got a little crap talk. Yeah, he didn't get punched. As long as you don't get the wrong fan who's like 14 beers deep and you push him, you're not going to get punched by anybody in Philly.
No, you're going to get some verbal.
Yeah, you're going to get verbal, but I mean, you get that anywhere. Prince Swayze says, there are many ways to achieve victory, and Jalen Hurts is demonstrating that to everyone. Look at his record versus top QBs. When will people see that? Yeah, but you're kind of playing in the John.
I mean, there are other people on the field that contribute.
Yeah.
It is not quarterback versus quarterback. If it were quarterback versus quarterback, it'd be really easy to predict these games. There's a lot of people who contribute to it, and there's nothing wrong with pointing that out, that Jalen Hurts has a great supporting cast, nor is it his fault, nor could everybody else do the same thing, because there are unique traits to Jalen Hurts that other people don't have.
Agreed.
But there's never been a quarterback in the history of professional football that won a championship with a poor supporting cast. Doesn't happen. Doesn't exist.
Prince, appreciate your super, brother. Josh B becomes a member. Josh, I didn't see what it was, but I appreciate you up in the membership or redoing it. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Jason, A-Team, checking in. Member for 10 months. That's love. Thank you, A-Team. Thanks for getting us through our work week. McMullen and Zander, best channel on YouTube. Thank you, bro. There's been a lot of rumors about Dean not being healthy at all this year. Very worried about Dean. Maybe they extend him cheap. That Ed Kratz article, John, is permeating.
Yeah. They're not going to extend him. Because they don't, they want to see how healthy he is. So they're not going to extend him until it becomes clearer. And I think it's going to be I don't think he's going to be here next year. I don't see many avenues, unfortunately, for that. If he comes back and plays well, he's going to price himself out. And if he comes back and he's injury prone, he's going to be labeled as injury prone, and they're going to move to the next group, which includes JAKIB Campbell and Small Munden and Jeremiah Trotter. So I think it's a one last run for Nakobe Dean in Philadelphia, unfortunately, because he's I think he's an underrated player, was playing phenomenal last year. Great leader. But he has had significant injury issues.
Yeah, and John, it even feels like even if he wasn't injured, which I guess maybe they could have made different moves, but they brought in the replacement. Like, even if he plays great this year or he fully recovers, I just don't think they're going to keep him. They've gotten out 2 linebackers in the wings waiting, plus JAKIB Campbell, who I don't think is a big factor.
Well, I think if he's completely healthy coming off last season, went through the Super Bowl, I don't think they made the same moves that they made.
Well, you think they'd pay him with Vaughn? I mean, they wouldn't even pay one linebacker last year. Now they paid Vaughn. You think they'd pay both?
Well, I think you get Nakobe at, 10, 11 versus.
That's $29 million on linebackers, John. No way, dude. No way.
If again, it's a different era with, you may be right. It's difficult, but it's a different era with Vic Fangio. He values the position more. That's pretty clear. Secondly, if he goes through again, I think people get hyper-focused on the end, and there's recency bias, and that's everybody. He was so good last season, and if that continued through the Rams game, through the NFC Championship game, through the Super Bowl, and he was never off the field. Yeah, I don't think either of them are here, to be honest, JAKIB Campbell or Small Munden. And maybe you talk about that down the road about, replacing him if it becomes too expensive, because maybe it's too expensive. Maybe it's even more than that because of how well he played last season. So that complicates things. But I think in the short term, the Eagles don't make all the linebacker moves they made. And I don't think, I think in the case of Campbell, I don't think he's playing Nakobe's position anyway. I think Zach has to move over. And, that's kind of what Howie said. And I think Small Munden is more about that. But again, you're talking about a day 3 pick with Small Munden, so it's not nearly as concrete, although I'm pretty high on the player. But
yeah,
it's a shame, but hey, injuries are a big part of football.
Yes, they are. No doubt about it. He is a great player, great dude, seemingly a great leader. He checks every box. I'm a big Nakobe Dean fan as well, but I just don't see the future here in Philly for him, but he has done well when he has been on the field for us this past year. Johnny Mac, great show today, brother. We got the week 1 game. We'll get more updates, I'm sure, by tomorrow morning, and then the official schedule release is Wednesday night. So we'll be keeping you guys updated with everything that happens on that front. And we'll continue to break everything down in this offseason. Johnny Mac, great show today, brother. And we'll catch up with you tomorrow on Birds 365.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Week 1, Eagles, Cowboys.
Win-loss, John.
That's a win. That's a win. 17-0, baby.
All right.
Project it out.
Good stuff. Win. I'll catch you tomorrow, brother.
All right. See you guys.
All right, there's Johnny Mac. John McMullen, the #1 Eagles beat reporter in town. Give him a follow at JF McMullen. Great job by him today, as always. Great job by Jeff Kerr as well. All right, so we're going to have the schedule release. We'll release Wednesday night. I'm sure we'll have a bunch of leaks. I know John Joti hates the leaks, but at the end of the day, a lot of times they're accurate. So I'm going to follow the leaks, and I'll give you guys the updates for sure. So you guys can see. I did see somebody sent me like a full leak. I don't know if the full leak is correct. Let me see if I can look at it real quick, but yeah, I don't know if the fully, my guy Philly to Chicago, I'm not sure if he is in here or not, but he sent me this on Twitter. I don't know if it's real or not, but whole lot of 425s and night games for sure. All right. Whole lot of night games and 425s. Week 2 is the Giants. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But overall, I feel pretty good about the schedule. Week 1's an interesting game. I mean, look, we joke about the Cowboys and we joke about, hey, watching the banner drop. I've been telling you guys, I don't think this Cowboys team should be slept on. And you're talking about early in the year when you still have confidence. The Cowboys will still have confidence. Remember, we're Eagles fans, and I appreciate that. And I think we're going to beat the shit out of them too. And we're going to laugh at Jerry Jones when the banner drops in his face. But just put yourself in their shoes for a second. They got the chance to come in and ruin our banner drop. They got the chance to come in and set Philadelphia on fire that they lost to the Cowboys in week 1. They got a chance to come in and set the narrative that they won 7 games last year and the team is descending and stinks. Dak Prescott can come in and try and prove everybody wrong that he's past his prime. There's a lot of things in their camp as well. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying look at both sides of them. This is a great clash in week 1, all right? Regardless of who you're a fan of, I think this is an awesome kickoff to the NFL season. Eagles, Cowboys, one of the best rivalries in football, one of the best games in football, really, every year. And you get it week 1 on Thursday night to kick off the entire NFL season. All right. I think it's going to be great. Crowley obviously took my hyperbole and made it that. Crowley, it's hyperbole, brother. I mean, come on. Ruin the banner. A week 1 loss is ruining the banner drop. Did I say that, Crowley? Is that what you thought I meant, Crowley? You come in and you spoil their night, Crowley. Hey, come on. Work with me here, Crowley. Good night. You like Brian Schottenheimer week 1. There you go. That's a good pushback. I don't, Seal. I don't like Brian Schottenheimer week 1. All right. They don't deserve that shine. Yeah, well, G. Santos, I'm not the arbiter of who deserves shit or not. All right. They are in it and we're playing them. D. Hughes says, glad we got some Eagles Cowboys that actually matters. That's true, D. Hughes. That's one of the best takes we've had. You know, most of the times the games stink. So I'm happy about that. Philly 3-1 versus Cowboys since Dak met Jalen Carter. I think I know people love to do the head-to-head. What is Dak? And I looked up Dak and Jalen head-to-head. It says Dak is 2-1 versus head-to-head. Again, I'm with John where what the heck does a head-to-head mean? I mean, they're 2 football teams playing versus each other. Quarterbacks aren't even on the field at the same time. So it's hard to do it, but Dak has been an Eagles killer, right? We love to criticize Dak, but he's been a regular season Eagles killer. He's 9-4. So we'll see. Dak can't run and quit this time. Hey, that's fandom talk, though, Daz. All right, that's fandom talk. It's fine, but it's fandom talk. Very small sample size. All right, very small. Agree with that. Real zeal. What do you guys think of the game? You guys think it's a win? You think it's a loss? You think it sucks? You think it's great? You think it's all Eagles all the time? You think it's ruining Jerry Jones? What do you think? Give me some takes from the great people of JAKIB Nation. Ryan says, I'm behind today, but I just heard that Kerr's ass used to go to Taylor Swift concerts back in the day. I love Kerr. You guys are hard on Kerr. Kerr's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. He gives us a lot of time. He's got good insight into the NFL. He does a great job writing for CBS. I'm a Kerr fan. September 4th is Mark Holmes' Super Bowl. You might be right about that. Choke Scott, 31-14 Eagles win. Well, that tells you why Crowley had an issue with me saying they're going to ruin the banner night. All right, Crowley, I'm going to remember this, okay? Because if for whatever reason the Cowboys are able to win in week 1 and you're in our chat bitching about the season being over or the team not being as good as you expected or Howie not making the right moves to replenish the defense, I don't want to hear a fucking word from you, Crowley, if they lose that game. You hear me, Crowley? I don't want to hear a word. But let me guess, I will hear a word. All right, Crowley? F the Cowboys banner says. Eduardo said, I think it's going to start off close, then we run away with it 28-17. It's good prediction. It's a good prediction. Kerr is funny as shit. Yes, he is. Kerr is very funny. 40 burger all day. I'm with Flex. Daz says 31-7 Birds. Easy win. Ooh, Daz, you're sleeping on the Cowboys a little bit. Is our offense going to start slow this year? We will probably lose if it is. See, Josh B's being objective. You're right. If the offense starts slow again, it's going to be trouble. Zia, you're giving him the words that he will say verbatim. Yeah, Rich, I got a tendency to do that. A says, it's not impossible that they win. I think the gap is too wide between the Eagles and Dallas. Division games are weird, brother. That's all I'll say. Division games are always weird. That's just the reality of it. Ain't going to be close. Birds by a billion. 40-27. It's big scoring in Flex. It's big scoring there, Flexing. You're putting a lot of stock in that Eagles offense, aren't you? Mark Holmes is going to be going to the game, and they're going to be great to watch him cry. Are you guys going together, Eagle? Who are you? You know Mark Holmes? Master Eagle, do you have some sort of identity that I don't know about? Because I thought you were just an anonymous YouTube chatter. Big Z, 30-20 Birds. I like that score, Anthony. That's kind of where I am right now. I don't think the Cowboys are going to score nothing, but I don't think the Eagles offense is going to be ready to explode with a 40 burger. All right. I'm thinking more 27-23 range, 30-20. I'm good with Anthony. I could see 30-24, 30-27, somewhere in there. I don't see 40 for either side in this game. There's M. Reyes. Flex, it tells you where you are when M. Reyes is on your side. I agree with Flex. A 40 burger is the minimum we'll drop on that ass Cowboys defense. Ass. I mean, they got Micah Parsons. They got Overshown. They got Trayvon Diggs. They got Deron Bland. They just drafted Shavon Revel Jr. I mean, come on, guys. They got some players. I mean, man, Cowboy delusion sometimes goes a little far. Cowboys still have a formidable team. All right. They still have a team that they could field. They're not the freaking the 2023 Panthers. I mean, come on. Dank says, how did that help them last year? That's true. It's true. Birds win 20-13, and the passing game will still be a struggle, and the world will come crashing down for Eagles. Ryan, that's one of your better comments. Eagles win by 14, and Keely Ringo gets 160 yards. So that Brian, that's perfect case scenario because you win the game, and then you give something for the Eagles fans and the show to harp on for a week. Great case scenario there, Fleming. Cooper DeJean pick 6. I could see that. 38-24. I could see it. It's a little heavy, man. It's a little heavy. 38 points for the Eagles. Yeah. Division games are always wonky. And Cody K, add in that it's week 1. Week 1 games are like preseason, man. They're wonky. All right? They're wonky as hell. Let's see. Let's see what happens. All right, I got to run. I hope everybody had a great weekend, by the way. I hope you all had a great Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, the reason that we're all alive. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I appreciate the people who reached out to me for my birthday, sent me a birthday wish. I thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for all the support you've given to JAKIB Sports and to the show. Thank you all very much. We'll have the National Football Show with Big Sills from 2 to 6. An update on the giveaways. I Amazon ordered the packages I need. All right. So I told you guys I was behind. I didn't have the packages. They deliver tomorrow. I'm going to ship out a bunch of all the giveaways tomorrow. I think I got like 5 or 6 to ship out. And then once I get done with that, we'll do some giveaways. Maybe we'll do some on schedule release as well. So, and we'll also have some other fun stuff as well. But I want to do something to we can reciprocate. All right. So if we get members or if we get super chat or maybe we can set some super chat goals this week, if we are able to hit those, I'd like to do more giveaways. But you guys understand. I mean, look, I'm very transparent with you guys. The business is the business. In May, we're not generating as much in the season. So the giveaways are a lot harder to do in the off season as compared to the regular season. So if we're able to get members, super chats, and those things, I will definitely do some giveaways. All right. So let's work on that. Xander, another excellent day. Big Santa Z coming in clutch. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you being Hal. Hope you had a great weekend, my man. Appreciate all you guys. Philly Don, good to see you back in the chat today, brother. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate you. Joe Whip, if you're in here, I just saw your email. You were working the Truist. So I saw your pictures. Looks awesome, Joe. Great picture of you. I think, is that you and your wife in that, Joe? I'm not sure if you're in here right now. But great picture you sent me of you down at Truist and working at 15. It looks like, is that Rory you took a picture of? Yes, that's Rory. So pretty good pictures that Joe Whip got. He was up close and personal at the Truist and at the Cricket Club. So good stuff there. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate, inside the locker room, and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.